Yeah, it's better. It's better. You're turning blue and gray, but for sure, man. I don't. Let's get into the. Oh, I gotta switch the banner here. This is some
Yeah,
high
so
tech
guys,
stuff.
we had a little discussion before the podcast today, and I think we want to do a Timberwolves talk segment every podcast. So I think might have to trademark that.
Timberwolves talk trademark. No
Timberwolves
one
talk.
else can use it.
Yep.
But
So go ahead.
yeah. So what we're gonna do is every week we're just gonna talk about. It's just gonna kind of keep everyone like updated on what's going on with the Timberwolves during the year. Because during the season, I mean, not everyone's going to have the time to watch every game. So what we're going to do is just kind of go over the games that happened that week, talk about some of the interesting storylines this week. There's some very interesting storylines.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but
Yeah, so we're just going to talk about a little bit of Timberwolves every week and just make sure that we always hit it every week and just talk about it.
yeah. So first, I think we could get into the Rondé Hollis-Jefferson signing. And he's one of those guys that's only 25 years old, and he feels like he's been around the league like 15 years.
I was
And
just
I
about
don't
to
know,
say,
I don't know why it is, but he
he
feels
seems,
like he's been around a long time.
he seems like he's 35.
But yeah, I think it's a great signing. I think wing depth is always good, and he's a great defender. And obviously the Timberwolves need a little defense, so I think I'm happy with the signing. I think he can complement guys very well on the second team.
Yeah, plus he already has that chemistry with D'Lo from the Nets. Those were the two guys that kind of carried the Nets.
That's what D'Lo said. They interviewed him right after the Nets 2019 playoff run. He literally said Rondé Hollis-Jefferson was the glue that held that Nets team together.
See, we asked him to bring in some vets, and he's not really a vet, but
He seems like a vet.
he seems like a vet. He's got that old soul. Lefty.
Yeah,
Can he
lefty.
shoot? Can he shoot?
He could hit a 15-footer. I don't know if he can step outside the arc, but he can put one through from mid range. So I think overall I really do like the Rondé Hollis-Jefferson signing. It was a 1 year, $1.2 million contract, so pretty much a minimum. And you know, if it doesn't work out this year, that's fine. So I think it's a great signing.
I mean, yeah, and we also got another key piece of that Nets team in Ed Davis.
Yeah, really stoked about that one too.
Assembling the big three from the Brooklyn Nets. It's
Yep.
kind of like the Minnesota Bulls, or what did they used to call us
The Timber Bulls?
The Timber Bulls. Now the Timber Nets is what we basically are. But I'll hit you with some Rondé Hollis-Jefferson trivia. Where did he go to college?
Was it Arizona?
It was. There you go. See.
Yeah.
So also, So now with all these new signings, the roster's kind of getting solidified. What do you think the starting lineup's going to be in your opinion?
Yeah, so I guess we can go through both of ours of what we'd like to see. So I think first of all, I'd like to see if we're just starting the game, we want to put up some points. We're just going out there to compete. I'd say my starting lineup would be D'Lo at the 1, Malik at the 2, Edwards at the 3, Wancho at the 4, and Cat at the 5. And I think the reason for this being all those players can step outside of the arc and hit a 3. And I think the Timberwolves' philosophy is shoot threes and space the floor and drive. I think if you have all 5 of those guys on the floor, you're not going to be able to account for every single one of those guys. One of those guys is going to be able to penetrate and kick out, and there's going to be an open 3 or an open lane to drive.
See, the only problem I have with that is if we're talking the first game of the year, I think it's going to be tough to start Ant-Man in the first game of the year. I think you got to start Rubio, man. I think you got.
I can see that too. I definitely can.
For sure, that might it's hard having Rubio and D'Lo on the court at the same time. I'm really excited to see how they're gonna handle that.
I think they're gonna play off each other really well when they're on the court together. I think Rubio's a really unselfish player, and I think D'Lo will still get to carry the ball up too.
See, but how does Rubio off ball without the ball in his hands? How can he really affect the game? That's my only problem with that, because I feel like he needs to be making the plays and dishing out the ball, and if he's doesn't have the ball in his hands, I feel like he might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll have to see, because obviously Rubio's most dangerous when he's a playmaker with the ball in his hands, and he's not the best coming off picks and shooting, but I think obviously he is an approved 3-point shooter. He's shooting at 36% from the three, which he wasn't doing when he was on the Timberwolves the first time. So that's always a really big plus. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think first game of the year, like you were saying, I think possibly Rubio in there is just a leader. I think could be a good for the starters. But I think it would be great for those guys on the bench in the Okogis and Culvers, because I think Rubio will make those guys that much better. And then if and once Rubio leaves for good, those guys became that much better because they had a Ricky Rubio and they got to play off him a lot. So I think that's why him leading the second team, I think, would definitely be great.
Yeah, I definitely think that our second team is going to be actually pretty scary this year. With you even got Culver, McDaniels, Rubio.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be exciting because usually with a team you're only excited about the starters, and once the starters go out, you don't really have anything to be excited about. But now, I mean, the bench is actually looking pretty scary.
Yeah, I think the really underrated piece too is I think when Rondé comes in and plays the 4, Nas at the 5, I think is really underrated because Nas can step outside and hit. He's like a budget Karl Anthony Towns kind of. He can step outside and hit the 3, and he's a bigger body and can rebound like that too. So I think the second we have depth now. I don't think we had depth last year, and we actually have really decent depth.
Yeah, man. So when's our first game of the year?
I believe our first. So they haven't released the schedule yet. We do not play on Christmas Day, so it's either the 22nd or the 23rd will be the first game of the year. But the first preseason game is the, I want to say 11th or the 12th against the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies. So, who do we got? What are the matchups looking like for that game? What are you going to be watching that game? Are you just
I think I'll tune into the first preseason game, and I think we can talk about it. No, I'll definitely tune into the game. Probably try to watch it all. I think Ja Morant's a lot to handle, but I also think that would be an interesting matchup, D'Lo and Ja. I'd like to see how they kind of go off against each other because there's two different play styles. I think Ja more plays like Russell Westbrook, whereas D'Lo plays a little bit slower, like I don't want to say James Harden, but he plays slower like him. He's not the most athletic guy. He's going to try to beat you with his skill. So that'll be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm just really excited for the basketball season to start up. And what we were talking about college basketball earlier, like I can't believe it just feels so weird that college basketball it just kind of started up out of nowhere to me, at least. I wasn't ready for I was just like, wait, is this college basketball on the TV? And dude, last night was the what was it, the Champions Classic?
Yeah, the State Farm. And I always every single year I get ready for the Champions Classic. I'm like, okay, it's always going to be Duke, Michigan State, and then we got Kentucky, Kansas. But it's like the NBA. I'm kind of waiting. I'm waiting for the season to start. I'm leading up to it. But the college season, I didn't even know it came until it hit us.
Yeah, I was at work last night and I just looked up at the TV. I'm like, wait, is this the Champions Classic? Like what?
Yeah.
But especially with college basketball this year, it's kind of weird that the Blue Bloods still aren't even. They're not the top teams this year.
No, I think there's a little bit more talent on each team, but I think you see again, and you see Wisconsin actually as the number 4 team in the nation. Iowa is the number 3 team. You see a lot of teams in the top 10 that are mostly senior-led teams. Like Wisconsin's whole starting lineup is seniors this year.
See, that's just classic Wisconsin.
Yeah. See, my thing with Wisconsin is I think they're good every 3 to 4 years because those kids that come in as freshmen take their time, then they get to redshirt senior, and then they're super good, and that's when they make the Final Four runs that you usually see.
Which is probably going to happen this year, which I hate to see it, man. I've always hated Wisconsin basketball.
Just their 3-and-D.
Not even, man. They're just so fundamentally sound. It's just annoying.
See, that's what I love about college basketball is those guys play I kind of like the 40-point games. I like seeing them playing really hard, playing good defense, and playing zones and different matchups. Whereas the NBA, you're just seeing guys blow right past each other and just slam it home.
True. I mean, it really is kind of the old-fashioned basketball, especially Iowa, Wisconsin, all his like
Like
Villanova.
I was watching Indiana play Texas actually in in the Maui Invitational the other day, and Indiana was just sitting in that 2-3, and they would not let them score. Like they would have to hold the ball and run the shot clock down to 30 seconds every single time because they were just so fundamentally sound in that zone.
Dude, I used to love playing against zones.
Oh yeah, it's launch 3-pointers and
Or
penetrate.
playing zone, dude. Playing zone is so much. It's like
It's so much more. You get so much more hype, I think, when you play zone because you have like your buddies, and it's not all on you if you get beat off your man.
that it's not as energy consuming.
Yeah, that is true. Playing at the top of the 2-3 is the funnest position in basketball.
See, dude, yeah. Do you know what the worst is?
Bottom middle literally stinks. And
No,
even
no.
the bottom side stink too because you have to run out and defend the corner, and then you can get penetrated right there.
Okay, but not even in the 2-3, but the bottom of a 1-3-1 is
Oh
the
yeah,
worst.
the run just running baseline side to side
That is the worst like position to be in basketball,
because you
especially
got to have
in
your fastest guy down there, right?
yeah. And they would put me down there, and that wasn't me. And in practice, dude, in practice, like when you just keep doing it back to back to back to back, and they would just swing the ball around from like, and you just literally just sprinting the baseline the whole time.
Yeah,
And if they skip past it, like there's no way you can get all the way over to the other corner.
no,
I mean,
it's a long run. It
yeah.
definitely is.
But dude, I would like to see that. I wish there was more zone defense in the NBA.
I wish there was too. I think you actually see a little bit more of it now than you used to. But because in the playoffs, I think the Magic were running 2-3 against the Bucks because Giannis was just killing them on the inside. So I think the reason they don't run zone, obviously NBA players are just too good at 3-point shooters to run a zone against. But those you're too athletic not to just guard man to man.
Yeah, I guess. And defensive 3 seconds makes it really hard.
Yeah, the middle guy would have to keep going to the top of the key and back.
Or the sides, or the sides.
Or
Yes.
the sides, yeah.
See, so that kind of takes like the 2-3 out of it, and I feel like that's kind of the reason they made the defensive 3 seconds.
Clog the paint.
Well, I mean, yeah, why not? But why is there defensive 3 seconds still? Especially when people can shoot as well as they can now. I feel like that's something that just should be taken out of the game, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit tougher because obviously in high school basketball, you're not going to have a 7-footer just sitting in the paint. Because like those guys, if they're just sitting in the paint, like why would I not plug a Shaq type player in the paint and sit him there the whole game?
You know why?
Because
'Cause
big guys can shoot now.
you hit them with a small ball lineup. That's what I'm saying. If they just want to stick a center in the middle, put Karl Anthony Towns at the 5 and just wide open threes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know why it's the only it's one of those rules that only applies to the NBA. That's no
But
other level of basketball. So I don't know why it's in the game either.
I mean, you could see it in the past, but now I feel like that's something that could kind of be just taken out of the league. So the big story that I actually saw on Snapchat, you know how you like swipe right on Snapchat and there's all these stories. I usually never click on them, but the one I clicked on, I was like, wait, what? And it was
Yeah.
a little gossip about Malik, your guy.
Yeah,
Can you
so I
explain to
guess
us
we can.
what your guy what happened to him? What he
So a little story time. So Malik Beasley's birthday was, I think, 2 weeks ago. So he goes off to Miami for his birthday, and now it's just recently surfaced. I think last night was when it came out. Was him and Larsa Pippen were holding hands, and they're a couple now. They're dating, and Malik had a kid and his wife back home, and they just found out about it. And
wait,
this isn't there was a separate girl that actually I think TMZ leaked the DMs that same weekend of too.
so wait, so he Laura, what's her name?
Larsa.
Larsa Pippen, is that Scottie Pippen's wife?
That's Scottie Pippen's ex-wife that has a little bit of a history of
The future.
yeah, future Tristan Thompson, dozens of NBA players. Yeah, and I feel bad because Scottie Pippen Jr., his mom is literally, she has an OnlyFans. She's dating players his age. Like, this kid's. By the way, Scottie Pippen Jr. is having a great season at Vanderbilt so far. He's averaging probably going to be drafted next year. So imagine your mom dating these guys that are the same age as you and could possibly be be your teammate next year. So like,
imagine if the Timberwolves draft Scottie Pippen Jr. How awkward is that?
like that's I don't know, that might be unplayable. Like I don't know if that's because Scottie Pippen Jr. The thing that's funny is he's been liking tweets like I feel so bad for this kid. Like someone
About
get this
himself?
about his mom, yeah. And he's like, someone get this man's mom, and like stuff like that. But like, I thought it was a funny joke. I saw a tweet that said his mom's been playing in the NBA longer than Malik Beasley, and I'm like, it's true.
Yeah, it's weird because when I think of Scottie Pippen, I think of like old guy, like 50, because he's pretty old, dude.
Yeah, it's Larsa's 46, I think, so she's double Malik's age.
Hey, Malik, hey, he's a character, man.
I mean, I think it's just bad timing because of obviously his felony charges. I think Malik's been in the news a little bit more than they'd like him to be with the new contract. But I mean, hopefully he can. I don't know. I feel terrible for the family, obviously, his wife, his kid, because they found out at the same time as the public did. So I mean, hopefully Malik can figure it out. I don't know what he's doing. I hope he doesn't date Larsa Pippen. I hope I hope he's doing okay. I hope everything works out there.
I mean, yeah, and now he's also facing a suspension for his arrest. And when I saw that he was MN Sports News posted on Instagram that he was facing a suspension. I was like, wait, for the Pippen thing? Like, how does that? They can't suspend him for that. But
No,
then,
that was for the charges. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long do you think he's going to be suspended? Or
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as people think. It'll probably be like maybe a 10-game suspension or something. Well, honestly, maybe he can get the charges dropped somehow. But luckily we just drafted somebody first overall that's a shooting guard too, so it won't be too. It'll be a big loss because obviously he's the best 3-point shooter on the team besides Cat. But maybe Anthony Edwards can really step up in that role and become that third star if he gets the opportunity.
Yeah, it's terrible timing for Malik to be doing something like that, but it's just classic Timberwolves. I mean, we sign a guy
to 4 years, $60 million. Yeah.
On the podcast, we stated that he's a changed man. Like they signed him because they believed in him, and then for him just to go do that, I mean, it's a tough look. But
I think the big thing is though too, at least it wasn't something with legal issues. It was just a personal thing. I mean, hopefully that can be fixed with some vet. That's why it's important, man. You get a vet like Ed Davis, and hopefully you can just like it's real. Like I think the year we had Kevin Garnett, was it that 2014 or 15 we signed him back?
It was Cat's rookie year, so
yeah. And I mean, Cat probably thrived being mentored by Kevin Garnett. So I think you need a player like that in every locker room to really hold it down.
Yeah, I mean Ed Davis. Like I don't mean to I think that is the most vet name of all time.
Yeah, and like D'Lo said it, everyone you talk to loves that dude. He's a hard guy. He's gonna get on you if you're not working hard. So I hope he really brings that to the locker room this year.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I mean for Malik Beasley, like the issues off the court. I mean, that doesn't really affect him as a basketball player. I mean, it might a little bit, but he's still going to be that basketball player, and that's like he's still going to be a great basketball player. So.
And I mean, like, I don't know. I was just looking at his Instagram today because I thought he was going to be like all down and not posting anything. But dude, he was posting a bunch of stories because Timberwolves training camp started yesterday, so everyone reported, and he was hanging out with like a Kogi and having fun. And hopefully he's good. If he's good in the head and he's playing good, then personal life aside.
How do you think that the players in the locker room are gonna how did you think they reacted to that? Like when they got to training camp, do you think anyone said anything, or do you think it was just kind of like awkward, or do you think they like clowned him for it? Like, what do you think?
I would probably say more clowning. I don't think it was probably be too awkward. Well, it's tough because
it's terrible. He has a wife and kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I was just about to say that. Like, I don't know if realistically, probably no one said anything to him, but I don't know.
Because it is terrible. It's really terrible, actually.
Yeah, it is bad. I think I thought
He
I
just got
saw his
married in
wife.
March.
Yeah, his wife's trying to get filed for divorce. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if something wasn't working and there's stuff behind the scenes. So I don't know.
I mean, especially with well, she's probably happy he just got that contract.
Yeah, because
Divorce.
if they didn't sign a prenup, she's definitely getting half of that new $60 million contract. So
I mean, it's tough. That's tough for Malik. We might be seeing him in some more commercials lately, trying to get some more.
yeah, we might be seeing him at a what is those Kirk Cousins commercials he does, the Pizza Ranch.
Brand his sleep number. Kirk, I just don't feel like
Gets the biggest Vikings contract and does all these random commercials. Do you think he just likes doing them?
no, dude. He's trying to get. He's a really smart guy, and he. The funny thing is, like, he's the most boring guy ever, too. So I don't know why these brands would want him in their commercials because he's just so boring. Like, he's literally the most boring person.
He's got like that. Everyone knows Kirk's vibe in Minnesota, so I think everyone just whenever a Kirk commercial comes on, everyone just loves it.
It's more of a meme, honestly. People just think it's funny.
Yeah,
For sure.
but yeah. A lot of stuff going on with the Wolves right now, but that could make it potentially even more exciting. Add to the headlines.
See, I don't know. Is there always this much like drama going on with the Wolves, or is it just like now that we're paying attention to it?
I don't know. I think there's always like drama, like people are getting frustrated because we're losing. So I don't. Maybe this is kind of new. I guess I don't know.
It's kind of new. I don't know if I like it or not, but I'm really excited for the preseason to start next week on Timberwolves Talk.
Wow. Okay, I just got a notification from Shams that 48 out of the 546 players tested positive for coronavirus.
48.
Out of like 546.
All right, so do some quick math. What is that? What's that percentage there? Anyone in the comments? Oakview, Aaron Johnson, you guys got the math there?
500.
Well,
It's
you're
about
doing
like 8% of players have COVID right now. So I mean,
yeah.
that's bound to happen though. That's pretty normal numbers even for the NFL, that percentage. So I mean, I don't think it's gonna mean anything. In the long run, we got a couple more weeks till season 2. Plus, I think partially what that would have to do with everyone coming in from what they've been doing directly into camp
You'd rather have all these players get it right now than
during
in
the
middle of
season.
season.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's gonna conclude our Timberwolves talk for the week. You know what? Let's get into some